Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm your host, Patrick Murray. If you want to know what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, and you want to know Calgary or Edmonton, which is better, then you are in the right place. I just ask that you hit that subscribe button and click that little bell, please, so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, like many of you watching, I was once new to this city myself. I moved here way back in 2001. And so that gives me some longevity in this city. And not only that, because of the industry I'm in, I'm a real estate professional with Coldwell Banker Mountain Central, practicing since 2010. Hey guys, I know a lot about this city. So if you're considering moving here, you want some help, you want some answers to some questions, you want assistance finding a place, my information is below. Please feel free to send me a text, email, give me a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you and help you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta. All right, guys, let's have some fun. It's the Battle of Alberta. Let's talk about Calgary or Edmonton, which is better, right after this. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through 6 criteria. I'm going to discuss each criteria for each city. And then at the end, we're going to have a scorecard. We're going to go through each criteria briefly, declare a winner for that criteria. And at the end, we will declare a winner and we will know definitively which is better. Is it Calgary or is it Edmonton? All right, guys, let's jump into things here. And I just want to note, I am not down on either city. They're both great cities. I've been to Edmonton. And I believe that every city, whether it's Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Regina, Moose Jaw, where I grew up, Saskatoon, these are all places I've lived. They all have great attributes about them, and they're beautiful, and they've got terrific places to go. So I want you to know this is not a slam down on Calgary or Edmonton. This is for information to help you make an informed decision moving forward. Let's do this. All right, let's talk about the rundown. First, in this corner over here, we've got Calgary, Alberta, a population of 1.4 million people. The median age is 36 years of age, and the size of the city is pretty large here in Calgary. It's 846 square kilometers. Now, we are the largest city in Alberta, and we are known as the Stampede City, I should say, and we are home to the Calgary Flames. And if you know anything about the Battle of Alberta, then you know Calgary Flames is an important part of that. All right, guys, we have beautiful vistas of the Rockies here, and we're a little bit of a higher paced city than Edmonton. We're a little busier, a little larger. All right, in this corner over here, we've got Edmonton, Alberta. All right, guys, the population is 1.14 million people in Edmonton. The median age there, a little younger in Calgary at 35.7 years of age. The city size is about 685 square kilometers. It is the second largest city in Alberta, and it is our capital of our province. Now, Edmonton is known as the gateway to the north, and it is home to the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah. All right, guys. Now, they don't have any vistas of the mountains, but they've got a lot of other great pluses there. And they have a little bit of a slower paced life there. Again, just because they're a little bit slower. All right. So let's jump into the first criteria that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about location. We're going to start with Calgary. Calgary is located on the banks of the Bow River with beautiful river valley access. In the central part, it is located in central part of the southern half of the province, so you have an idea where that is. And we have close proximity to Canmore, Banff, and the Rocky Mountains. And just so you guys know, I have a lot of notes here because I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure I get it right so you have all the information. All right, let's talk about the location of Edmonton. Edmonton is located on the banks of the North Saskatchewan River with beautiful river valley access. It is North America's northernmost metropolitan area, hence why it's the gateway to the north, and it is located in the southern portion of the northern half of our province. Okay, so that is location. Guys, let's talk about weather. Oh, Canadians, we love to talk about weather, but boy, do we love to talk about it in Alberta. Let's talk about Calgary. Okay, typically the weather ranges from about -11 degrees on average in the wintertime to 25 degrees in the summer months. Now, it can get much colder in the winter, but it can also get much warmer in the summer than the temperatures I've declared here. Now, we have an average of 333 days of sunlight a year in our city. We are actually the sunniest, the largest, sunniest city in all of Canada. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, like I said, winters can be cold, and it can be pretty snowy too. But something nice is we get these breaks in the wintertime, these warm winds called Chinooks that come off the foothills and the mountains, and it creates a bit of an inversion, insulates the heat in the city. So we could be -10 one day, and all of a sudden we could be -10. Hey, pardon me, +10 or +16 even on a day. And people be celebrating, walking around in shorts. Why? Simply because they can. You won't catch me doing that. Now, the weather does change quickly. We always say, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. The weather changes on a dime here. So we can get all 4 seasons in one day. Now, Edmonton can too. It's just the nature of where we live. And we are in a drier climate. Edmonton is too. So you're going to want some moisturizer if you're moving here, because you're going to find it probably a little drier depending where you're coming from. Now, in Calgary, something that we have to deal with in the warmer months is we do get hail. So that usually happens starting around, I would say, June, for example, and can go into as late as September. So sometimes we get really small amounts, but we've had times where we've got, larger hail, even quarter-size golf ball size hail. And a few years ago, we had a really bad hailstorm that caused a lot of damage in the Northeast. So it's just a reality of living here. So if you have a garden, you need to be paying attention to that. Pay attention to the weather, listen to the weather forecast, because you want to make sure you cover up that garden with something nice and protective so that those hailstones will bounce right off. Unfortunately, I can only grow lettuce. Hey, you win some, you lose some. All right, guys, let's talk about Edmonton. Now, typically the weather in Edmonton ranges from, average about -16 in the wintertime, 16 degrees Celsius, I should say, and to +23 degrees Celsius in the summer months. Now, it can get much colder in the winter, and it does. And again, part of that is because of where Edmonton is located. It's a little bit further north, close, you're creeping up further north, you're getting into the colder climates up there. But they can also get temperatures that are a lot warmer as well. So in the summertime, yeah, they can get pretty hot as well. But on average, they don't get quite as hot as Calgary. Generally, we usually get the more heat than Edmonton does. Now, let's see, what else can I tell you, guys? It is a sunny city, no doubt about it, but they don't have the record like we do in Calgary. So, hey, that's all right. And they don't receive those Chinooks in the winter. So sometimes they don't get those breaks. So those winters can seem a little bit longer sometimes if you don't get those warm breaks like we do in Calgary. Now, the weather can change quickly in Edmonton as well, as I mentioned. And like I said before, it is a dry climate. Now, something cool about Edmonton, because of its location, you can actually see the Aurora Borealis up there, which is the Northern Lights. So that's pretty spectacular. All right, guys, that is the location. Let's talk about the job market. Okay, this is pretty important stuff. So in Calgary, we have energy, banking, finance, insurance, and tech, which is really big. We have over 3,000 tech companies in Calgary. Yeah, it's a big up-and-coming industry here. Well, up-and-coming, it's here. And we have a very robust film industry in Calgary as well. We have a lot of films being shot here all the time, so that's cool as well. And we are home to many large head offices for big companies, that sort of thing. Now, we are considered more of a white-collar, quote-unquote, city in comparison to Edmonton. And the unemployment rate has been going down, so it is improving. But currently, as of the end of February 2023, the unemployment rate in Calgary is 6.6%. All right, guys, let's talk about the job market in Edmonton. All right, it is a government town with many government-related jobs there, but they also have a lot of energy companies up there and many energy-related supportive jobs up there. They're also big in manufacturing, tech as well, and financial services. And Edmonton is considered a blue-collar city in comparison to Calgary. Now, their unemployment rate differs from ours. In Calgary, it is 5.4%, at the end of February 2023. All right, guys, housing. Here we go. All right, in Calgary, the benchmark price for a home is about $530,900. So that takes into account detached homes, semi-detached homes, condo apartments, and townhomes, puts them all together, kind of come out with a stable benchmark price from month to month. And at the end of February, that was what it was, $530,900. Now, the RBC Affordability Index from December of 2022 rates cities throughout Canada and Canada proper on the percentage of household income it would require to pay for your taxes, utilities, and home costs for your house. So basically to cover home ownership costs. And in Calgary, it would cost 41.6% of your household income to cover your home ownership costs. And the comments from this are, buyers still able to navigate. Now, this is a pretty good number in comparison to some other centers like Vancouver, which a few months ago was, I think, over 91% of your household income went to paying your home ownership costs. Canada as a whole is 62.7% of your household income, again, taking into account all the major centers in Canada. So again, Calgary, 41.6%. Now let's talk about Edmonton. Now the benchmark price in Edmonton, again, all the same factors as Calgary, for a home is $371,100 at the end of February. Now that's quite a jump from what it is in Calgary. And the RBC Affordability Index, again, all the same criteria as of the end of December 2022, said that the index said 31.2% of your household income would be spent on your household costs or cost of home ownership. Again, that's your taxes for your house, your utilities, and your home costs. And the comments from the index for them said, ownership costs no more a burden than usual. All right, well, that's interesting. Let's move on. Let's talk about food, entertainment, and culture. All right, so guys, Calgary has about 7.7 million visitors a year now. Our visitors and tourism is primarily due to our quick and easy access to the mountains and all that Calgary has to offer, including the world famous Calgary Stampede, which brings in a lot of money to our city. We have an excellent food scene here with over 10 restaurants in the top 100 restaurants in Canada, and it is ever evolving, so it's really good. There are lots of ongoing festivals throughout the year. We have museums, art galleries, the opera. Hey guys, I was at the opera, my first opera like a couple months ago. It's kind of cool, actually. The ballet, and we have theater as well. And nightlife in Calgary, I would say, would be comparable to Edmonton somewhat. We're a little bit larger, so we might have maybe just a little bit more going on. Now, Calgary was host to the 1988 Winter Olympics. And for sports teams in the city, we have of course, Calgary Flames with the NHL. The Calgary Stampeders are in the Canadian Football League. We have the Cavalry FC, which is our pro soccer team. The Calgary Roughnecks are our pro lacrosse team. We do not have an NBA or a Major League Baseball team. Boy, I sure hope that changes one day. All right, guys, let's talk about Edmonton now. So Edmonton boasts around 7 million visitors a year. Pretty good. Known as Canada's festival city with lots going on year round, and a big draw to the city is the West Edmonton Mall, one of the at one time it was the largest mall in Canada. I think it still is. I think it's the second or third largest in the world at this time, but it's huge. Well worth a visit, guys. They have an excellent food scene with the best local restaurants ranking within Canada's culinary lists. Their nightlife would, again, be comparable to ours, maybe slightly quieter just because of the size. And guys, they hosted the 1978 Commonwealth Games, and they have Commonwealth Stadium there, which is built, and that's where the Elks play. Now, for sports, they have the Edmonton Oilers in the NHL, and they have the Edmonton Elks. They have the Edmonton FC as their pro soccer team, and Edmonton Rush is their pro lacrosse team. They have no NBA team and no Major League Baseball team. Now, guys, I got to tell you a funny story. Edmontonians, you might not find this story very funny, but when my little boy was 3 years old, I taught him all the names of the NHL teams. I could show him a logo, and he would tell me what team it was. But I had him trained, so every time he get to Edmonton, he'd go, Edmonton Oilers, ah! He'd say. So I don't know. Sorry, guys. What can I say? It's the rival of Alberta, the rivalry that we have going here. All right, let's talk about the cost of living. All right, let's start with Calgary. So the average household income before taxes as of the end of 2022 is $141,000. Okay, housing is more expensive than Edmonton, but values typically are higher here than in Edmonton. Now, we are considered a car city here, and the average commute is roughly 24 minutes. The cost of fuel is the same as Edmonton, around $1.24.9 a liter as of the making of this video. Now, we do have a good bus service here and a more extensive light transit system than Edmonton does. The cost of monthly transit pass is $112. And I should note we are also currently working on an extension for our LRT system here, which is called the C train. So there's going to be yet another line, so we'll add a third line. Food costs generally are 2% less than Edmonton on average, and the cost of childcare is a little more expensive here than it is in Edmonton at about $1,100 a month. Now, this varies depending on a child's age, the duration of care, and any potential government subsidies that might be available, so that cost could come down. All right, guys, let's talk about the cost of living in Edmonton. Now, the average household income before taxes is about $122,000, so a little less than Calgary for sure. Housing is less expensive than Calgary, though, so there's that. And they are also considered a car city. The average commute time is about 23 minutes, and fuel is roughly the same as Calgary at $124.9 cents a liter, $24.9, right? They have a good bus service, and they have a light rail transit system, but it's a little bit smaller than Calgary's. And the cost of a transit pass for an adult for the month is $100. So about $12 less than Calgary. Now, food costs are roughly 2% more in Edmonton than it is in Calgary. And the cost of childcare is a little bit less expensive, roughly around $920 a month. But again, this will vary depending on the child's age, the duration of care, and any potential government subsidies. Guys, that's it. Now we talk about the scorecard. All right, who's going to win the Battle of Alberta? Okay, let's talk about location. I give this point to, got to give it to Calgary, guys. All right, so and the reason why is Calgary is closer to the mountains, and it's easier to get to those outdoor pursuits such as skiing, hiking, mountain biking, and to Canmore and Banff. Now, Edmonton can get to those too. You just can't see the mountains from the city, and you have to drive a little further. So that's why I like the location of Calgary, because I think a lot of people like to get away occasional weekend, or even just for a day trip, that sort of thing. It's a little bit easier to do. Let's talk about the weather. So far it's 1-0 Calgary. The weather, Calgary. Oh, sorry, Edmonton. So it's generally warmer in Calgary. While Calgary can get cold, it's not as cold as Edmonton. And again, that just has to do with Edmonton being that much further north. Now, Calgary does get a break from the winter Chinooks as well, which creates very warm temperatures. So that's a plus. And another plus, it is the sunniest city in Canada. So got 2-0 for Calgary. All right, guys, let's talk about the job market. And this point goes to, I'm going to have to give it to Edmonton. All right. And the big reason for that just has to do with the unemployment rate in Edmonton. It is 5.4% compared to Calgary's 6.6% at the end of February. So that point goes to Edmonton. All right. So we're, what, 2-1, right? 2-1 for Calgary. Guys, let's talk about housing. And it goes to, I'm going to give it to Edmonton. Now, neither are really bad, really. I mean, if you look at the affordability index, I mean, yes, they're probably about 10% apart. But if you look at the averages throughout the country, we're doing quite well in Alberta in both Edmonton and Calgary. And certainly by national average, we're well below that. Edmonton gets it because they had a score of 31.2 for the affordability index versus Calgary's 41.6. All right, so what is it? 2-all. Whew. All right, guys. Food, entertainment, and culture. This was a close one, I'm going to tell you. It was a hard decision. I gave it to Calgary. Now, like I said, it was close, but Calgary is just a little bit bigger, has just a few more things to do and experience. And I've asked a lot of people that have moved from Edmonton to Calgary, which did they prefer based on food, entertainment, and culture? And it came back that they preferred Calgary. So, guys, that was the feedback that went along with my research. And so that's why it went to Calgary. So what do we got? 3-2 to Calgary. All right, Calgary could take it all here. Cost of living goes to Edmonton. Got you there almost, right? Yeah, Edmonton gets this one. Calgary is a little more expensive. Yes, the average household income is more, but the difference in housing costs creates the gap between the two cities. Edmonton edges out Calgary, and the winner is, it's a tie. That's right, Calgary 3, Edmonton 3. Guys, really, it's one that you'll have to weigh personally as to what is more important to you with the criteria that we discussed here, and choose what fits for you and your lifestyle. Certainly my choice is clear. Go Flames, go. All right, guys, so I just need to know a little bit about you, what you're looking for a home. Are you an inner city dweller? Do you like to be close to the action? Or are you somebody that likes to live a little bit further out in the suburbs? You know what? You might get a little more for your money, right? Do you travel a lot for work? Do you need to be close to the airport? Do you need easy access to get downtown to work? Do you need a home office, right? Do you work in an industrial area? These are all things that can help me find you a great home. Also, hey, do you have kids? And, how many kids? What are their ages, right? What are they doing? And what are your hobbies? Do you like to go to the mountains? Do you like to hike? Do you like to ski? Do you like to play golf? You know what? There's lots to do here. Just tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you're looking for in a home, whether it's a detached, semi-detached, townhome, or a condominium apartment. I'm here to help. My information, as always, is below. Send me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I will get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.